The neighbor could have could be allowed to dispense a medication like this and solve the problem in the market, rather than some federal bureaucrat coming from Washington and dictating what the pharmacist should or should not do.
Well, I cut that question a little short. I mean, it started off with a question about pharmacies and the fact that employees weren't providing women with birth control pills and other items because of their morality, you know, and so basically his answer to that was that, yeah, corporations can do anything they want, and so if they want to hire people, they'll do that. It's okay. You have no right to anything from a business. They're not obliged to guarantee you anything. And then the second part was, then he went on to this whole thing because it was pointed out that Ron Paul would get rid of pharmacists anyway. And so, yeah, basically he's for just, yeah, so any snake oil, you can find a desperate person, you can sell them anything you want. Sell them a piece of cardboard with magic dust on it, it's okay. You're going to cure their cancer with injecting their brain full of sand from the road, okay, go ahead, have fun.
Well, I did not say I'd get rid of public education. I went through 12 years of public education. All my kids were educated in public schools. But what I did talk about was I didn't want the federal government to take over public education, because they're totally inefficient, they're wasteful, and it costs too much money, and cost goes up, and they come up with these schemes like No Child Left Behind, and teachers don't like it, and it ruins the education. So the more federal government you get involved, the more you're ruining the education for a lot of these kids, and we are undermining the quality of our education. The federal government's responsibility is keep hands off. Only the states can deal with that, but we wouldn't undermine public education. But quite frankly, if you had a truly wealthy, prosperous, free society, education would be available. But there would be always people that needed it. In a local community, if they wanted to provide it, they would be allowed to. And you would not, there's no attack on public education.
Well, I think clearly there is, just as he opposes the income tax and the way he talks about property, I'm sure he opposes property taxation. So let's not be fooled by this jargon. And, as soon as somebody starts talking states' rights, I'm old enough to know what that means. That's just a code word. That's a code word for, let the N-words take care of themselves. Let the poor take care of themselves. Fuck them. That's what it means. And it means, yeah, let's create our own little segregated world, so everybody has a right to free association. That's another term he uses, or freedom of association. That's another catchword. It just means, yeah, we have a right to exclude the people we don't want to participate, the people we don't want around. And so every community is going to have a right to eject the Rambos, we don't like your look, get the fuck out of our town. And that's the world we're looking at here. That's the liberty concept for these people. It's freedom to be a bigot, freedom to exploit, freedom to be a monarch.
So the big question here now, the philosophic question is, do I lose all your votes because I don't support student loans, or do I get your votes because I don't want you to pay Social Security?
Well, I think you should lose a rational person's vote for both causes. Obviously education's worth financing. I would change the system, get rid of the real waste in the system is the dumbass teachers. Let's put it all on video. Let's go get a whole, get your doctorate on YouTube. Fuck the bullshit. Fuck paying these assholes to do the same shit over and over and over and over. But that's a whole other issue. Won't go there. But what was the other half of that? Oh, shit. Alright, I'll turn it. Social Security. I mean, I should be able to remember that one. Yeah, well, look, young people don't really understand what Social Security does, I don't think. I don't think they have the vaguest clue. First place, businesses pay half the taxes. Okay. Second place, it's an insurance program. Third place, it's been pre-financed for a decade, well, over a decade now. And the money's just being borrowed by the rich, okay? People are paying into the system now. They're overpaying into the system in advance so rich people can borrow the money on income tax debt. And that's where our $9 trillion debt is. It's in income tax underpayments. That's why he wants to abolish the income taxes, because the income taxpayers owe us $9 trillion. Anyway, Social Security is You've got to have some sort of system. You've got to have something, because guess what? People aren't going to anticipate, oh yeah, I'm going to live to be 107 years old. They're not going to plan for that. They're going to plan for something realistic. And then what happens if they live past that realistic expectation? You're just going to throw them out in the street? It's just stupid. You have to have the system. You have to have some kind of system. And I really don't, you know, I mean, there's lots of fixes to Social Security. I mean, we shouldn't be giving checks to Bill Gates or any of these other rich fucks. Let's just concede. Let's have a progressive Social Security financing system, and you know, we can finance it forever. We just tax rich people at the same rate we're taxing working people. If we tax inheritance at the same rate we're taxing working people for Social Security, we could finance Social Security for 10 million years.
Property rights, they were new and different, but the idea of licensure is very anti-free markets, because then they intimidate you. You know, the license can be revoked, and then you have fairness doctrines to be concerned about, and all these other issues. So no.
So if the government has an asset, its best function is disposing of it.
That is right, and to sell it and make it available in the most equitable fashion possible.
Well, we know if an asset's going to get sold, the equitable distribution is going to be to the rich. And so they'll own all the media outlets, all the frequencies, all the everything, and you know, they'll own it. And so they won't have to, you know, we don't want to lease anything to anybody, because that still gives us, we the people, some control over how it's used. But if we just sell it, then they can do whatever the fuck they want with it, and they can control every outlet, every single minute portion, every pixel coming through the internet they could control by that standard, because we couldn't regulate any of it. We couldn't oblige free access to any of it. A monopoly could just take it all.
And in many ways, you know, I will at times carelessly use the word democracy, but it's really not a very good word, because democracy implies the tyranny of the majority. So, and unfortunately, we're at that point now that if you get 51% of the vote to transfer wealth, it's the law of the land.
Well, actually, it's not that simple. It isn't the law of the land, because if you're going to tax, there is, you know, if the courts weren't full of corrupt liars like yourself, politicians and the rest, tax schemes are required by law to have the intention of, you know, to be designed to create an equitable distribution of the tax burden. So there is a standard. So it takes 51%, plus it has to be an equitable transfer. It has to have some rhyme or reason. You know, but yeah, we already know what this is about. This is about rich people, and it's about the whole idea that they think they're entitled to create a nobility for their children that they can live off of for the rest of their lives and for the rest of eternity. You know, that's what it's, look, it's about fucking monarchy. That's all this creates. We already been there. We've been there and done that. Just open a fucking history book. No one voted for a king or queen. They were created out of a free enterprise system run wild. Okay, power consolidated, and it became an empire. It became capable of buying itself an army and taking whatever it wanted. Idiots.
In a way you promote is just, if you want international competitiveness, you just get out of the way. I mean, make sure your taxes are low. Make sure that if somebody here wants to start a business, he can. Make sure that they get to keep their money. Make sure that the regulations are low. Make sure that they don't have to go through hoops to start a new business. I had a businessman come to me the other day, and he had been to China, and he had met a businessman over there. No, he was a journalist. He met a businessman. He said, "What are you doing over here starting this business? Why don't you do that back in California?" He says, "It would take me 5 years. It took me 3 weeks to get this business started in China."
I just wonder what kind of business it is that takes 5 years to start up in the United States of America. I wonder what kind of, he's not selling Hershey bars, right? It's got to be some kind of one hell of a business. It takes 5 years. And, you know, 3 weeks in China, yeah, that's right. Because, you know, if the employees all get blown up, no one's going to care. Free ride. Yes, sir. Yeah, charming. I mean, look, the guy has defined himself. And idiots who see anything rational or logical in this nonsense, it just stuns me. It's just stunning that this isn't like humor. Like, this is funny. I mean, this should be a big joke. That people actually believe this simplistic nonsense? That you can run a world this way? Oh yeah, just let everybody do whatever the fuck they want. Oh, God damn. So anyway, I don't know if there's any other points I really have to make. But we all, like I said, we know what this guy wants to do. Look, he never brought up inheritance. I mean, Google never threw that issue at him. But look, this is what it's all about. It's all about consolidation of wealth. It's all about the rich ruling the world. It's nothing about promoting liberty. There won't be any liberty once they own everything. It'll be their world. You'll have the freedom to lick their ass. That will be your right. You will have the right to lick someone's ass. And you will have no other rights. None.